You can start.
I can start. Good morning, grade 7 pupils. Actually, I hope you are doing well at home. And right now, I'm ready to teach you mathematics. We are going to continue with our syllabus as usual. So, let me write the subject we are going to do. So actually, I'll be happy to proceed with where we left. And the last time, actually, we were looking on area of trapezium. And just as area of trapezium, I remember last time I introduced you to the area of trapezium, and I said very well, a trapezium is a figure, is a four-sided figure. And being a four-sided figure, let me up a sketch. During my introduction, I said very well, a trapezium has got two parallel sides, and these parallel sides never meet. If we talk of parallel sides, these are sides that will never meet. Whether you extend them to which end, you try to extend them to any end, they will not meet. Hence, we call them parallel sides. And then a trapezium being a four-sided figure, we have other two sides that are slanted. And when we talk about slanted, it means they can meet. So this side is slanted to this. And therefore, a trapezium also has got a height in the middle. This one is called an height of a trapezium, even indicated with H. And therefore, I said last time, two parallel sides can be labeled by letter A and letter B. Directly to the formula for area. Let me remind you again to the formula for area of a trapezium. And I said very well, is given by a half. You say a half multiplied by H. And H is always shown in the middle here. It depends with where it has been located. It could be in the middle there, or it could be at the farthest end. That is called an height. And therefore, a half H times. Therefore, put bracket there. And I said, inside this bracket, we put the sum of A and B, meaning the sum of two parallel sides. Just say, sum of two parallel sides. Just as short as that. I hope that is what I taught you last, and that is where we stopped from. So today we are going to work out some examples involving how to calculate area. Like, for example, let me take you through example 1, and this example is on page 121. Let me set for you an example. So, example 1, Example 1, we get this example from page 121. Page 121 of your primary mathematics book. Now, it states, let me come out with a figure. If you are very keen enough, you are very sure to tell that this is a trapezium. And being a trapezium, let me give you A. The value of A there is, let me give you as 8 centimeters. Let me give you this value as 8 centimeters. Let's put it 9, and this perpendicular height, the perpendicular I have just said, let me give you it to be 8. This is 8 centimeters. And our other perpendicular B, this perpendicular B, let me give you it to be, let me confirm for you, 14 centimeters. Now, let's go directly to the formula for calculating area of a trapezium. Begin by saying, and this is mandatory, very, very important, formulas in mathematics. So, I said very well, area of a trapezium is a half times H. And H here stands for these parallel sides. This is called an height of a trapezium. So, multiplied by into bracket. Put that one into bracket. A is a perpendicular distance. And this is a perpendicular distance to B. So we say added to A plus B. Remember, in mathematics, we talked of the word sum, and the word sum here always means addition. So if I talk of sum of parallel sides, it means you add A and B first inside the bracket. So let's work it out. We shall say a half multiplied by the value of our height. Come back to the diagram, and our height is now illustrated as 8. Right, multiplied by 8. Units are very important. You need to indicate units. So our height is 8 centimeters multiplied by, put that sign for multiplication and put brackets. And therefore come back to the diagram. The value of our A is 9. Indicate 9 centimeters. Sum talks about addition. So add it to the other parallel side, which is 14 centimeters. Indicate 14 centimeters. Close your bracket. You know the rule of body mass states that you work out what's in the bracket first. Very, very important. Now, 2 cancelled by 2, you get 1. 8 divided by the same number 2, you get 4. So it means you shall be left with, here we have 1 multiplied by 4, multiplied by into bracket. We have 8 added to 14. And hopefully I know here, none can be defeated to add that. And if you add it clearly, you shall gain 20 what? That is 23. Units are mandatory, must be written. And therefore interpret. 1 multiplied by that, you get 4. And 4, open the bracket. And therefore it shall be 4 multiplied by 23. Units are mandatory, must be written. Now, if we all multiply this one very well, and we shall end up actually with, that is 12, that's 8, 9, 92. Don't leave your answer as 92 only. Remember, in mathematics, we need to write units. And units are very important. Since we were given length in centimeters, our area shall be 92 centimeters, and you put there squared units. Having done so, this work is perfectly done. That is the end of it, and therefore you double underscore your work. I mean ruling. You rule using 2 lines. That work is clearly showed, and hopefully I know very well the rest of my exercises you shall do so. Let me add you one involving decimal. This was example 1 involving whole numbers. Now assume now, you know very well setters sets exams differently. Suppose now you've been tested on just similar area. Still, the figure I've just drawn to you on the board as example 2 is a trapezium. And being a trapezium, A, we've been given as 1.6 meters. Let me now use meters because here I had used centimeters. B, being the longest side of this trapezium, is given as 2.4 meters. And my friends, here has been given as a perpendicular height. And this perpendicular height is also in a decimal point. Assume you've been given it 4.2. Let me put 4.2 meters. Remember, units are meters. Be sure that these are decimals and identify these decimals. Same formula shall not change where the diagrams is drawn how. The same name remains trapezium, and therefore formula for trapezium remains what I said there at the start. And I said very well, area of a trapezium is given by half, you multiply by perpendicular height. This height here that is straight. That is what we call perpendicular height. And that is why I said multiplied by h, that's an abbreviation. And therefore multiplied by, and just to recall very well, I said a trapezium must have 2 parallel sides, which are opposite, and they will never meet. Whether you extend it to which end, they will never meet. So we call those ones parallel sides. So half h multiplied by a plus b. To take you back, a is this upper one, and b is this lower one. And therefore close your bracket. Continue with procedure number 2. And procedure number 2, just interpret a half multiplied by h. Come to the diagram. Our h is 4.2 meters. So you write 4.2 meters. Continue multiplied by, and then create your bracket as usual, because the bracket is appearing in the formula. So in the bracket states that A, the value of A is 1.6. So you write 1.6 and units. My pupils, units are very important, can make you get wrong. So you need to have written 1.6 meters added to the value of our B, being the lengthiest side of this trapezium, is 2.4. So you again put the symbol of addition, 2.4 meters. And my pupils, don't ever forget this one, assuming it is multiplication. It is always addition. Therefore, you have to add what's in the bracket and then you multiply. Now, from there, we can simplify. Being that 2 is an even number and this decimal number is also even number, so simplify procedure number 1. 2 divided by 2, you shall end up with 1. And therefore, 4.2 divided by 2. So proceed like this. This 4 whole number divided by 2, you end up with 2 whole number. Create a decimal point there. And 2 divided by 2, you end up with 1. And still meters. From there, our next procedure number 3. We shall take 2.1 meters, and therefore we multiply by sum of what is in the bracket. And if I talk of the word sum here, you shouldn't get challenged, because sum means we just add what is there in the bracket. And what do we have in the bracket? We have 1.6 added to 2.4 meters. Meters must be written. And if you do so very quickly, you shall just end up with what? With what we call 4.0 meters inside the bracket. From there, it's very easy, and I hope we can all do that. Let me clear part. From there, you shall turn to this part, proceeding with that procedure. From where I stopped at procedure number 3. So I'm proceeding to procedure number 4. And procedure number 4, we were supposed just to multiply. That is what we say. Let me confirm. That is 2.1 meters and multiplied it by 4.0 meters. Now, from there, my pupils, I had taught you how to multiply decimal numbers. Hopefully, I know you are still remembering. Now, from there, assume the number of decimal places, but this has what? 1 decimal place. So, write heaven somewhere, 1 decimal place. Same to this one, has 1 decimal place. So, having assumed this, come and say 21 multiplied by 40. And as usual, none of you in this class should be defeated by this simple sum. It's very easy. As usual, any number multiplied by 0 remains 0, all of them. And therefore, 4 multiplied by 1, that is obviously 4, and that is obviously what? 8. Add 0 there, and this is symbol of addition. Last column, that is 0. Second column, that is 4. And the next column, that is 8. Now, come back to this sum of decimal places. We had 1, 2, meaning 2. Count from the left. 1, 2, meaning our decimal point shall be there. Now, if now you are writing the answer becomes 8.40, but you write meters squared. I'm through, but I still want to emphasize on units. Units in mathematics are very important. Assume it has been brought in exams, and answer A maybe is meters. Answer B maybe is meters squared. So if it is on area, I've emphasized on area. If it is area, must be squared unit. That symbol that appears like 2 is very important. Because if it is perimeter, it must be left meters only. Now from there, I hope these 2 examples, you will copy them in your class workbook for maths. And therefore, before I also end, I want to give you an exercise. And this exercise, I'm very sure, hopefully on Monday, I will mark this exercise, submit your books in school. So this one turns to, I've said exercise 78. We have exercise 78 in our primary mathematics, class 7 textbook, primary mathematics. Let me confirm it for you before. So this one appears on page 121 to 122. The exercise appears on page 1 121 to 122 hand. I want you to do them from number 1, confirmation, just number 1 to number 3 only. Just number 1 to number 3 only. I would like you to do your work perfectly, arrange your work, show formula, follow all the methods I've showed here. With so you will obtain the answer, and always try to focus, because math is a practical subject, the easiest of all subjects. The more you keep practicing this subject, the more you keep understanding it, and when it is tested in exam, you will even pass very well. So thank you very much for enjoying my lesson. Hopefully next week, if things shall go well, I hope we shall meet again and submit your book in person and leave them at school here. I will mark, and therefore the following day, come back for your books marked. And maybe prepare on Tuesday another mathematics lesson you shall also receive. Yeah.
Thank you very much, teacher.
Thank you very much, and enjoy your weekend, since we are approaching the weekend.